Today, we don't need the Game Awards. Video games can just win other industry awards. This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint, brought to you by the power of actual internet, now installed at the moon base.
We got fiber.
Keep me regular.
Gross, beesh.
Regularly uploading internet video content. What did you think?
Poop.
Oh, also that. Please, yes, let's start recording immediately. Big news in the board game industry. A video game has taken the top prize of Germany's Spiel des Jahres. You should know the Spiel des Jahres. It's the thing on the copy of Catan that you have sitting on your shelf, the one that all your friends won't play anymore. And now that top prize has gone to Dorfromantik, which is not a dating sim set in the Dwarf Fortress Matrix, but a chill tile-laying game where you build pretty forests and villages for as long as you want. So that's it, folks. Video games have now fully supplanted board games. Burn all your meeples! Reject your lumpy flesh prisons and embrace the cool metallic surface of the thinking machine. Except the top prize actually went to Dorfromantik the board game, a physical incarnation of the original, replete with brightly colored cardboard hexes. Up to 6 players are invited to sling tiles, drink wine, chill out, and romance the dwarf. And by the way, a video game board game winning the Spiel des Jahres was inevitable. There's nothing in the rulebook that says dog basketball can't win one of the most prestigious awards in the board game industry. That gives me an idea. Hey, Nintendo, you want to win some awards? Paint Mario's face in some hex tiles, and we'll call it Plumbers of Catan.
Bad news for assholes. You're not allowed to just be an asshole online anymore. At least not to a company based in Washington State, but maybe other places eventually? Bungie, who co-developed Destiny 2 with help from their own exotic weapon Telesto, won a nearly $500,000 court case against a West Virginia man and part-time asshole for harassing their community manager. The man was furious that Destiny 2's community manager would do something so horrible as to promote Destiny 2 fan art that happened to be by a black artist, so the asshole proceeded to, in the words of the court, carpet bomb the community manager with hideous bigoted voicemails and text messages, and going so far as to send a virtually inedible odoriferous pizza to the manager's house. Which is a phrase that would be funny if it also didn't mean that the asshole knew where this community manager lived. The asshole also apparently didn't feel like fighting the case in court, so Bungie just awarded damages to cover their costs for investigating the harassment, and for protecting their employee, and for the lost work when the employee, understandably, needed some time off, plus legal fees. And while it's nice to see comeuppance for just one asshole, let this be a warning to future assholes, because, according to a Twitter thread from Catherine Tewson, a paralegal who worked on this case, a legal precedent has been set in the form of a new common law tort, which sounds delicious, and it means, in Washington state at least, entities that have the resources to investigate and fight this kind of harassment can take assholes to court to recoup their costs for investigating and fighting that harassment. So, the next time the community manager for your favorite game shares something whimsical instead of the patch notes for whatever personal issue is affecting you, and you decide to insult, dox, and harass them, fuck you! Don't! You're gonna get sued.
Neopets! Little virtual animals that live on your screen, and you play games on their website. It started in 1999, which means I was too old to play it, and my wife was the right age. And fuck, dude, that gives me some serious pause. Anyway, let's jump forward to when we're all adults and talk about the resurgence of Neopets. It's now been spun off from its original owners into a new company called World of Neopia Incorporated, backed by about $4 million in outside investment, and headed by the former team lead for Neopets Metaverse and Neopets superfan, Dominic Law. But why the buyout? Well, Neopets has been through some insidious shit like multiple data breaches, Scientology ownership, and even more insidiously, NFTs. And its popularity has dropped to about 100,000 daily active users from a peak of 35 million. But it looks like the Neopets team, or TNT as they're calling themselves, is trying to revitalize Neopets for the remaining fans and any nostalgia seekers who are still out there. According to a Medium post, they're hoping to run monthly AMAs, clean up a ton of customer support tickets, move everything to mobile platforms and the Switch, and implement an Adobe Flash emulator called Ruffle so that they can get about 50 games going again. No word on whether those games will include the old adver games that companies like Disney, McDonald's, and General Mills funded for the original site, but it sounds like Neopets is back, just in time to compete for microtransaction dollars with Fortnite and Roblox. Oh man, they're fucked.
Speaking of things that are struggling, Overwatch 2. According to Activision Blizzard's latest earnings report, player engagement and spending in the game has dropped quarter over quarter. And while the earnings report optimistically states that the Overwatch team is looking forward to the August 10th release of Overwatch 2 Invasion, which has plans to include a new PvE story mode, a new game mode, and hero progression systems, and all sorts of goodies that people will find amusing, I found some very interesting additional details in the report by using my favorite secret journalism tool, Control F. Just kidding. I have a Mac, so it's Command F. Anyhow, further down in the earnings report, Activision Blizzard describes the Overwatch League as facing headwinds. According to the report, during the second quarter, Blizzard amended certain terms of their collaborative arrangements with the team entities participating in the Overwatch League, and if the teams do not vote to continue under the updated operating agreement, a termination fee of $6 million will be payable to each participating team entity. Yikes! But not to worry, because total revenues from the Overwatch League comprise less than 1% of our consolidated net revenues. So if you think this seems bad, you're right. And it doesn't seem like Activision Blizzard has much faith the teams are going to agree to these new arrangements, considering the company also just cut 50 employees from its esports division, with the layoffs hitting everyone from developers to casters. Of course, these layoffs are to be expected, considering the company's shares are up 15% year to date, and the company just had its best ever quarter with over $1 billion in net bookings. I wonder how much money Bobby Kotick will get when the Microsoft deal closes.
This has always bugged me, but is it weird that such a big CEO goes by Bobby? Wouldn't Robert be expected?
No, I think that would be weird. It would be like Timothy Cook or Elonguous Musk.
You're right. It would sound odd for him to use his real full name.
Yes, which is Elonguous.
Yes.
Yes. Coming up, Sega president Yukio Sugino went on record saying that because Sonic is Sega's signature IP, it is being considered for reboots or remakes. Wow! I can't even imagine what a Sonic reboot could look like. Is that even possible? Only time will tell.
Nice. Good. Excellent.
Elonguous. I didn't. That was Graham who wrote that.
I didn't know if it's a soft G or a hard G.
I didn't know how to pronounce it either, so
Yeah.
I just went with my heart.
I
went with my Elonguous.
It looked very, it seems like a thing that I have to get removed in a year or so.
Yeah. Something, your doctor's going to run tests on and then make little tisking noises.
Yeah, it's like, what's the problem? It seems to be your elonguous. I'm like, shit, I didn't even think I had one of those. So, no, the human body is born with one.
Yeah.
Neopets is interesting because I don't give a shit about Neopets. I don't know if other people do still. It's kind of seemed like it's fallen off the thing.
Well, we did a story about them in January.
Yeah.
Where they were like, hey, the management here is awful.
Yeah. Because what's happened is that the overarching owner, Chinese company NetDragon, Dominic Law went to work for them in like 2020. And I'm like, so he's only been working there for about 3 years, but he'd been playing Neopets for like a very long time, just thousands of hours put into it. And so he went to work for them and be like, I can be part of the thing that I love. And upon getting there and working for Neopets Metaverse, which was the thing of, we're going to turn this into a big NFT thing, he was like, hey, but what if I just try to find a way to buy this off you guys, because you don't seem to give a shit about it.
It looks like Dominic and friends and co rustled up about $4 million of outsider investment, which is not the easiest thing to do in today's day and age, but got, and now they have Neopets.
Well, what kills me is I'm like, $4 million to run this thing, and I'm like, that does not seem anywhere near as what you would need to to run something like this.
Yeah, I wonder I mean, obviously there's probably some money required to buy the IP.
Yeah.
And then how long is how long is funding for that going to keep going? I look forward to Penelope playing Neopets on the Switch.
Well, and that's actually what I thought was super cool about this too, because I'm looking through it and I'm like, okay, like I don't really understand what this was because I'm too old to have encountered it, but I'm only too old for it probably by about maybe 5 years, right?
Well, I was going to say like that your story made it sound really gross, but I was like, but like Beej and Heather met in university, but she was in the middle, she was coming in at the beginning and he was leaving at the end. So it's like you're not that far apart in age, right?
Yeah, it's like, we're only about 5 years apart, so or 4.5 or whatever, and it's just like however that worked out. It's like that's that weird kind of intersection. And what really got me about those, it's like more like Neopets has kind of been regarded in the industry as this is the place where girls will come play more than boys. Like way more girls come to play this, and the research bears out that it's like if you give girls a place to play that has where that place has multiple ways to get involved with the play, then they're more likely to enjoy it. That they want to do all the things, like they want to, it's going to the Neo Mall to buy stuff or dressing up your Neopet, that kind of thing. But there's also there's a stock market in the game. I had no idea that existed.
Wow.
Right? There's like there's all these other little games and stuff, and some of them were advert games. Yeah. So it's like that was an early thing where on the web, advert games were not really a thing, but Neopets kind of sort of pioneered that in a way, like
right.
And it's like, but that was a place where girls wanted to go do stuff because it was also highly social and it was kind of experimental, and you could like, I have the little thing that says post your Neocode SIGs in the comments, because apparently there was like they took BB code and they kind of adapted it a bit, and they're like you could literally write your little, like, do HTML coding and stuff, and I'm like, this is not a thing that was available to a lot of kids.
Yeah, no, the girls who the kids who did Neopet stuff, like when I was a kid, were definitely the more like technically savvy ones.
Really? Okay.
Well, I mean, if you don't have any money or a computer at home, you're not going to be playing Neopets, right?
Right. That's fair. Yeah. You're also going to have I guess you're going to have started with a bit of a leg up there too. But,
yeah.
But yeah, I like looking at it now because I was like, who gives a shit about this thing? And the more I read it, I'm like, oh, actually now I give a shit about this thing succeeding.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't honestly seem so bad in this day and age, right? I have some nostalgia for Neopets. I was never a Neopet girl myself because look at me.
They just had they had a hell of a sense of humor. There's apparently a Neopet that was literally just a photo of Bruce Forsyth, who was like a big, some sort of celebrity in Britain. Apparently, it's like they didn't even go to any effort back in the early days. They're just like, here, it's a photo of this guy that if you
he's a Neopet.
But he's a Neopet now.
I don't know who Bruce Forsyth. Maybe that's why I was never a Neopet kid. Aside from also being, I think, maybe like a year or two too old to think that was cool.
Maybe, yeah, that might be fair.
Because I'm a little bit older than Heather, so...
Yeah.
Wait, who am I Googling? Bruce Forsyth.
Bruce Forsyth, yeah. If it's who I think it is, it's the comic relief guy, but I might be wrong about that.
Sir Bruce Forsyth, but R.I.P. died in 2017. Oh, this guy!
Oh.
He looks like Nigel Thornberry.
Oh, he does! Oh my god, he does! Like... Wow, the more you look at it, ooh, wow.
We'll have to get that picture up on on the screen. Heather, there's some work for you.
Great.
But you're so technically savvy because of all the Neopets you played as a kid.
Yeah, you probably have that lit in your back catalog. Go pick it up, I guess.
Yeah.
Other things, we've been mentioning this kind of all week. You'll see us on Mastodon more often than not. So if you want to go see what we're like when we're announcing things that are going on, we still have our Twitter account, but Loading Ready Run at kind.social is where you'll find our Mastodon account. LRRMTG at kind.social is the Magic the Gathering one we run, and that's important because you'll probably see us making posts of that for the PPR coming up this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
what's the set?
The set is Commander Masters.
Okay.
So it is a reprint draft set, but there's new cards for Commander, designed for Commander in the Commander Precon. So It's pretty cool. It's got some spice in it. I'm very excited to do this draft. We filmed the draft, and I'm just going to go finish editing it after we finish recording this.
Yeah, so check that out this weekend on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun. And while I'm at it, back to Patreon. Patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, and go to the store.loadingreadyrun.com. There, I've shielded successfully because we need money to do the thing.
To put up a picture of a guillotine every time I mention Bobby Kotick.